Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Ahmad Fathi from course Analytical SQL. Today we will have a revision on group by and aggregate functions and also subquery because we can't start the course without them. Let's start. Okay, first what we will take today, as I said, a revision on subquery and group by. Let's go. What is subquery? Okay, subquery is considered a query inside another query. Why we do that? Because maybe we have an information, we want to use it, but it's not directly inside the table that we are querying. For example, you want to say, I want all employees that their sales is more than the average sales of the company. Do we have a column called the average sales of the company? No, but we can calculate it from a query. Okay, but I want to make this condition inside my main query. What should I do? Yes, you should do a query inside another one. So the outer query or the main query uses the output of the inner query inside it. Let's see more. What is the types of subquery? Okay, you can use subquery to return a single value like what we said right now. Getting the average salary is one value. That's called a scalar subquery. You can use it to get more than column. You can use to get multiple rows. For example, you want to get the salaries of all the department, the average salary of each department, but all of the department together. More than one row, more than one value in your query. Correlated subquery. And we will solve a question right now about it, but it's and that the inner query is dependent on the outer query. Like there is a join between the two subqueries together. That's what is called correlated subquery, and it's very important actually. Let's take an example. What is scalar query example? Okay, the inner query first is executed, then the result is passed to the outer query like this. Here, the manager asked you to get all the employees that their salary is more than the average salary of all the employees. But you don't have an information called the average salary of all employees. So you select the first name, salary, from column employees. That's what he required, right? Okay. And the condition will be where the salary is bigger than. Oh, I need another query to get the average. So you open two brackets and select the average salary from employees. When you select the average salary of the employees, you get one value, scalar value. Then you can compare it by the salary. And here is the output. Steven got salary 24,000 and it's more than the average salary of all the employees. And so on. Okay. Can we get this average salary as a column in the output? Yes, but we will see it later. Multi-row subquery. If you want to get more than one row in the same subquery, how we do that? The same manager asked you to get all the employees that their salary is equal to any salary in department with ID 100. What you do? Easy. You select the first name and salary from employees where salary in. Why not equal? Because it will get more than one value. So you need to use in condition or in operator. So where salary in, open two brackets, select what you want. So you select the salary from employees where department equal 100. The third type, and this is the output. The third type. Okay. Correlated subquery. The inner query depends on the outer query. For example, why? Because the same manager asked you to get all the employees where their salary is bigger than what? Bigger than the average salary, but not on all the company, just from their department. So you select what you want, any column you want. employee ID, first name, department ID, salary, but you need here to put an alias because you will make a join. From employees where salary bigger than, and then open two brackets. What do you want? What do you want? You want the average salary of each department together. So you will select the average salary. E2 because it's the inner query, the second one. From employees E2 where, and here is the condition, where the department ID of the second table equal department ID of the first table. Let's take an example whose numbers. If there was someone called Alex, okay, and in his department called 100, this ID is 100, and his salary is 5,000. So I'm telling you, select the employee that their name is Alex and department ID equal to 100 and their salary 5,000 from the employees where the salary is bigger than. Select the average salary from employees, but not all employees. Just the employees that their department ID equal 100, same as Alex. So that's that. If you didn't understand something, please send me any email or contact me on LinkedIn from the description below. Okay. And now, what if we want to select this average to be printed in the query? How should we do it? And that's called subquery and select. According to my experience, too many people don't know that we use subquery and select, but it should be a common thing because we use it a lot. How should we use it? The same way. You select the employee ID first, the name, the ID, salary, for example, and then open to bracket, but you need to give it an alias because it will be a column. And then you select what you want to print it in the query. So here we want to select the average salary from employees where the department ID equal department ID. So that's the average salary of this department, the same condition we used before, but as a column here. So that should be the output. Okay. Now we will go to the second part of our video, which is group by. What is group by? Group by actually groups data that have the same value or the given value and summarize the row. For example, you group by the department. So what SQL will do will divide the data into chunks, and each chunk will call it will be alone and make a calculations on it. So you want to sum the sales, but not all the sales only of this chunk of data. Okay. Why we use group by? We use group by to make aggregation, but not on all the data, just on a part of the data. We want to analyze the data, but per something, per region, per department, and so on. We want to do apply any aggregate function like sum, average, count, max, minimum, and so on. How group by works? Easily. First, when you apply a group by, SQL take these rows with the same value in specified columns alone. Like department number 1, go to the left, department number 2, go to the right. And then it will apply the aggregate function on each one alone and then collapse the data. For example, if you want to take the average salary of the department, if the department has 1,000 row, it will be only one row, one value, because it will collapse all the data into one record. And those are aggregate function, sum. You have the sum to calculate the total sales. You have the average to calculate the average transaction. You have the count to count something. You have the minimum or maximum values. Okay, now we have important rules for group by. First rule, which is very important, that any group by, any column you will write it in the select, you need to put it on the group by. Anything. So don't put anything in the select with the group by that you don't want to group by it. For example, don't put the date if you don't want to group by the date. Don't put the customer name if you don't want to group by the customers. Second thing, you need to put into consideration that aggregation is done after grouping, not before grouping. So any aggregation you will put will calculate per group. And if you wrote more than one row in the group, it will be calculated for this group. So for example, if you put the department ID and customer, it will group the customer per department ID, not the department ID alone. So if you sum sales for the and group by department and customer, it will the sum sales for this customer inside this department, not this customer in general, not this department in general. And if you do order by, it can be used after group by to sort the result. And if you need to put any condition on aggregated function, you can't use where, but you can use having. What is having? Having is used after group by to filter aggregated result. Not like where condition, it doesn't run on the data before aggregation, but after aggregation. So it doesn't run per row, but per group. You can use with it any aggregate function like sum, average, count, and so on. If you compare between having and where is used before grouping. So it runs on individual rows, any row alone, but having runs after grouping and works with groups of data. Where doesn't use aggregate function, doesn't use sum, where, and so on, but having uses it normally. Example, where price bigger than 1000, that's condition you will use where. But having, when you put having some sales, for example, is bigger than 50,000. Let's take an example. A company want to know each customer how much it spends for it. Okay, then what we'll do, it will select the customer ID, the sum of order amount as total spent. What does it mean? That means I want to summation all the order amount for this customer. Why is the output? It will be that the customer spent 800, this customer spent 600, so you summation per customer ID. So this amount is for this customer, not per region, not per anything else. So for example, if I have two regions, one region is in England and another region is in India, and this customer traveled and bought from India and bought from Egypt, or sorry, from England, then it will sum post normally. But if you make another group per region, it will distribute it into two rows actually. And now we reach the end, sadly, of this video. Please, if you have any question, write it below. Follow us and subscribe to check the next video. The next video will be solving some questions on subquery and so on. I'm so glad and honored to have you. Bye.